What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode 112 of the Access to Combat podcast. I'm one half of your host, Hugo the Boss. Hugo got next, joined by my co-host.
It's your boy, Ray Boogie Kahuna. On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down UFC Shanghai, Walker versus Zhang. And on the PFL end, they still continuing their war tour, finishing up and wrapping up their finale. But before we get into any of that, my brother, please tell them what the deal is.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know.
Before we continue this particular episode 112, I just want to throw it out there. I want to preface this by saying your boy Ray, he fucked up. Boogie fucked up. I didn't get to do any tape. I did no tape. I got no kind of prep going into this. So what you're going to get from me in particular is raw Go Fish memory style takes. I'm not going to be right. Don't trust me. You want the more reliable takes? Please look and listen to my brother here.
Yeah, we had some family issues this week that diverted us from our original plan of doing tape study together. We had to divide and conquer. I wound up picking up some of the tape study. Here we are. We wanted to give you guys a quality podcast. Make sure you guys got picks for next week because we are off the following week due to Labor Day. Here we are. Let's get into it. My brother, let's get started.
First fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have Michel Pereira going one-on-one with Kyle Daukaus. Pereira is 31-13 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 31 years old. Daukaus is 15-4 overall, fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 32 years old. So like I mentioned before, I ain't do no tape. So this is purely based on my Go Fish memory. I'm going to say Michel Pereira early, maybe Daukaus late. I don't remember how Daukaus fights too much. All I know is I'm not that high on him. Pereira is more athletic and, you know, more gifted, but he does gas. Boogie Dama's pick says Pereira. Now, I'm going to throw it over to my brother. Let's see if we agree.
Yeah, I'm on Pereira too.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, and I'm on Pereira just because of the activity, particularly. Kyle Daukaus hasn't fought in a little over a year, which is a little considering he hasn't fought at the UFC level. Michel Pereira on a 2-fight losing streak to Abusman Nurmagomedov as well as Fluffy Hernandez. No shame in either one of those losses. I just feel like Pereira is going to be able to find the body on Kyle Daukaus here. However, there is a path for Kyle in this fight with the grappling. He can push the grappling. He will cage push. He will try to get this fight to the floor. But as we've seen with Pereira, he has been a lot more of a patient fighter if he's not getting uber pressured. And if you're going to walk into the pocket with him to pressure him, you have to be able to walk through some damage. I'm not sure that Kyle Daukaus, particularly after the Roman Dolidze knockout where he broke his orbital, he hasn't been the same since that fight in my opinion. He's on a 4-fight winning streak, but against guys that are a lower level and a lower level promotion, I just feel like he's going to have to walk into damage here with Pereira to get the victory. If you're asking me, I'm going to go with the more active fighter who's been fighting the higher brand of competition, the more explosive guy, the guy that I think is making better decisions in the octagon with his energy conservation as well as his shot selection. Give me Michel Pereira to knock this guy out.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight, we have Yizha going one-on-one with Westin Wilson. Yizha is 25-5 overall, fighting out of China, hailing from China, 28 years old. Wilson is 17-9 overall, fighting out of Simpsonville, South Carolina, 36 years old. I do not remember how Yizha fights. All I know is I'm not high on him. I'm not high on Wilson. I don't like either one of these guys. I'm going to pick Westin Wilson. Now, like the movie Memento, don't believe his lies. Don't trust me on this one. I don't know. Gut feeling, I mean, he's going to be the bigger, taller guy here. I trust his experience a little more. Fight ends in sub. I could see a sub either way on both individuals here, but that's all I got for this one. With no tape, that's the best I got.
Yeah, I like the fight ends in sub here. I'm going to lean Yizha, but I don't hate the Westin Wilson look just because he's sitting at a plus 700 dog right now. In my opinion, that line is not validated. Yizha, don't get me wrong, he fought Gabe Santos his last fight. Didn't make a good account of himself. Good chin. I trust his chin way more than I trust Westin Wilson's, to be frank with you. But if you're asking me, he's not a very high-level fighter. I would like to see him challenge a little bit more on the floor. Westin Wilson will try to push the wrestling and grappling here, and he can hang on the feet a bit. It's just he has a dustpan chin. Yizha should knock this guy out, to be frank with you, because he was able to land cleanly on Gabe Santos, and Gabe Santos is an underrated fighter in this division, in my opinion. This line doesn't make sense. I think it's a pure dog or pass spot. Fight ends and sub is what I'm looking at. Unders are also something that I'm very interested in, depending on how nice day look. But for the lean, give me Yizha for the knockout. But as a possible dog play, Westin Wilson is live in my opinion.
Next fight on the card at men's lightweight, we have Maheshate going 1-on-1 with Gage G-Money Young. Maheshate is 10-4 overall. Fighting out of Kazakhstan, but repping China, 25 years old. G-Money is 9-3 overall. Fighting out of Sedalia, Missouri, 25 years old. So I have no idea who Gage Young is. I already don't like his nickname.
G-Money.
G-Money is a bit weak. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
You ain't G-Baby. We don't. We ain't rocking on this podcast. You feel me?
That's an underrated movie, by the way.
Great movie.
I think the first person to grapple here, if Young's got any kind of grappling, he's probably got the edge here. Maheshate, to my goldfish memory knowledge, is a decent striker. And probably, I know he's been working on the takedown defense. So my no tape study pick here is going to be Maheshate. And it's only because I can't trust the guy named G-Money. I don't know if he's got grappling. I'm going to trust the guy that I know. Don't trust me, though. Trust my brother.
Yeah, I'm on Gage here, but not with a high degree of confidence. I get the Maheshate play, to be frank with you.
Don't trust me.
Maheshate, good striker. Striking defense is horrid. Gage Young, better defensively and more responsible with his defensive decision making. I think Gage is a better pocket boxer. I think he takes angles pretty well. He also will push the wrestling. He also has good defensive wrestling. Evan Elder shot on him and he was able to sprawl from a takedown that I thought he was essentially going to get taken down on. 9 out of 10 people were going to get taken down by Elder in that position, and he was able to sprawl and scramble in a very odd way, but get out of the position. For me, I saw enough just from that fight and the Contender Series fight where he stuffed a couple of takedowns. I do trust that if Maheshate is giving him trouble, he will push the wrestling and get him to the floor. Maheshate is big for the division. This fight, from a betting standpoint, I have no interest in betting, to be frank. It stinks. It can go either way. There's no line for this fight, so I can't even give you a dog or pass spot here. But I do think it is a dog or pass spot here. Like, if you're asking me, gun to the head, it is G-Money.
Hey, that's why tape pays off, man.
Yeah, I think G-Money is the lean just because I think he has more paths to victory, but not with a high degree of confidence. And with that said, I think we can skip this fight because there's nothing left to say to this fight. I think it's as simple as that.
Next fight on the card at men's lightweight, we have Rongzhu going 1-on-1 with Thud Austin Hubbard. Rongzhu is 26-6 overall. Fighting out of Auckland, New Zealand, but repping China, 25 years old. Hubbard is 16-9 overall. Fighting out of Denver, Colorado, 33 years old. I've been higher on Rongzhu than a lot of people. I know he's a very good striker. I know he's been working on his takedowns. I know he's got a little bit of grappling on him. I know Austin Hubbard on the other end, bit on the decline, a little bit older. He can thump. He can grapple, he can mix it up, but give me Rongzhu here. I'm going to go Rongzhu as my official no tape pick. I just think he's the better fighter, and I could be wrong. Maybe if I do tape later on and I see something on Austin Hubbard, that's going to reflect on the betting line, or at least, you know, on our betting picks later on. But my official non-tape pick is Rongzhu. My brother, am I right or am I wrong?
I will join you in the sun here, my brother.
Let's go.
It's Rongzhu. And it's crazy because there is a path here for Austin Hubbard, but if you're asking me, Austin's not a finisher. He is a guy that's going to let this Chinese Terminator just walk him down and just throw bombs, if we're going to be frank with you.
Rongzhu's a bad man.
Yeah, Padilla was able to time him with a good elbow. If Rongzhu's doing the tape, he's going to know how to deal with that. Austin Hubbard is a high fight IQ fighter, but the problem is Austin Hubbard he plays with his food. There's too many fights where he lets the guys linger and they wind up winning the decision on him. Alexander Hernandez lost via split decision. Medeiros lost via split decision. Those fights were close. This is a guy who's not going to want to go to the judges' scorecards. Austin could probably wrestle him, but this is a Rongzhu who is big for the division, strong, and murks dudes, to be frank with you. I'm going to lean Rongzhu here, probably by knockout, but if it goes to decision just because Austin's such a thud, pause.
Hey.
He'll probably be able to survive and get this to decision. So I say knockout a decision, but that's the official lead of the podcast. Not sure how I'm going to play it.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have Long Xiao, or I think it's Xiao Long. I think he pronounces it the other way. Going 1-on-1 with Su Young Yu, aka Yu Jitsu. Xiao Long is 27-9 overall. Fighting out of China, hailing from China, 27 years old. Yu Jitsu is 15-3 overall. Fighting out of South Korea, repping South Korea, 29 years old. No tape. I don't remember how long Xiao fights, or Xiao Long. I think it's Xiao Long, right? I know I'm not that high on him. I know I picked him to beat Chang Ho Lee, and that one burnt me. I also picked against Jiu-Jitsu, I think, in his last fight, and that one also burnt me. Su Young Yu is a better fighter. Su Young Yu is going to be my pick. If I do tape, that might change, but my official non-tape pick for this fight is going to be Jiu-Jitsu. Am I right?
Once again, brother, we will be standing in the sun together.
Let's go.
Yeah, Sun Young Yu, stud wrestler. I mean, dude, this guy had on a road to the UFC fight where he was able to hip toss somebody, cartwheeled onto his back, and then took his back. I mean, stud.
See, I don't remember that because, again, goldfish memory. But now you bring that up, and I can see it.
Yeah, he is very good. And I thought Gillespie was going to give him some issues. I also picked Gillespie in that fight, and you just showed me that there are levels to this shit with the wrestling. I will not be doing it again. He has a distinct grappling advantage over Long here. Long looked very good in his last fight against Quang Le, but Quang Le is a guy who just pushes the wrestling, doesn't really push the grappling. On his road to the UFC fights, you've seen that there were distinct holes in his wrestling and grappling acumen. Quang was not going to test that. You will. You will.
Hey.
Only you will. Episode 112, ladies and gentlemen.
Bars.
With that said, I think Yu gets this done via sub or decision. He could probably stop him with punches if he mounts him and he's stubborn. I'm not going to hate the ITD here. I'll go ITD for the podcast day. Give me Yu via ITD in this contest.
Next fight on the card at men's flyweight, we have Lonia Kavanagh going one-on-one with Energy Charles Johnson. Kavanagh is perfect. 9-0. Fighting out of London, but repping China. 26 years old. Johnson is 17-7 overall. Fighting out of St. Louis, Missouri. 34 years old. This fight is an interesting fight because Charles Johnson, he's been on a bit of a, not a resurgence, but like, you know, kind of like a you must have forgot. I'm actually better than a lot of people who have been kind of like, you know, critiquing my style kind of fighter. And then Kavanagh is a very good fighter who's fought two guys, one who I wasn't that high on Felipe, but on the other guy, he fought Ochoa, and I'm very high on Ochoa.
Very.
Beat both guys. It's a weird fight because Charles Johnson is going to have the dimensions on him. He's going to have the experience on him. Kavanagh's a small dude, but I don't know. I think this is like a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. No tape. This is probably going to be one of the first fights I dive into when I get the chance. But my no tape pick is going to be Kavanagh. Gut feeling. Again, no tape. This fight is probably going to go to distance either way. So I guess my early gut prediction for betting would be, you know, either Kavanagh or Energy by decision. But coin toss, Kavanagh. Am I on the right side, brother?
I'm on your side here, brother.
Let's go.
Yeah, if you're asking me, I just trust Kavanagh's process better. I think he makes better decisions. His striking technique, I think, is a little cleaner and better. He's faster than Charles, in my opinion, since he's the smaller fighter. That kind of makes sense. I think Charles is going to have to push the wrestling, and you've seen what happened last time when we were trusting him to push the wrestling. Did not do so. I mean, Charles is just like, it depends on which Charles Johnson shows up that night.
Yeah, it's for me, it's like, I think Charles Johnson's a good fighter. And he's like, what worries me in this one is that he has the size and reach to give Kavanagh problems.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it don't matter how good you are. You know, size does matter, bitch.
Scott Steiner voice.
Scott Steiner voice, right? So I'm happy that you're kind of with me.
Yeah.
On this Kavanagh pick. No, but like it does scare me a little bit.
Yeah, no, I totally understand, because that's what I'm saying. It depends. If Charles Johnson looks a certain way, like at his best form, this is his final form, this could be a very interesting fight. But if you're asking me as a capper and someone who's analyzing this fight, it's Kavanagh all day. I think Kavanagh is just the complete package. He's younger. There's a lot of reasons to like him in this fight. And I think Charles is more of a complete product, where Kavanagh's probably making better jumps in between camps, as well as just showing us that he is the goods. Is he as good as people projected him to be coming up the Contender Series? No, but I still think he has enough for Charles Johnson here. Give me Kavanagh by decision here.
Next fight on the card at men's light heavyweight, we have Diyar Nurgozhay going one-on-one with Uran Satybaldiev. I hope I got that correct, because those both names are paused. They're a mouthful.
Hey, yo.
Diyar, 10-1 overall, fighting out of Kazakhstan, repping Kazakhstan, 28 years old. Uran, 9-1 overall, fighting out of Kyrgyzstan, repping Kyrgyzstan, 31 years old. I don't know how to feel about this fight.
That's a good way to start this. Yeah.
This is one where I desperately need to do some tape because, I mean, just wiki capping these guys, both guys coming off of questionable losses. One guy in Diyar, I don't think I'm too high on this guy if memory serves me right, and my memory's dog shit, so just keep that in mind. Uran also coming off a questionable win, but at the same time, like, Boudet is a guy who has been proving me wrong time after time. I keep trying to fade the Boudet guy, and Boudet just, he lets me know my picks are Boudet.
The loss is aging gracefully, though. 100%.
I'm going to completely just say I'm going to pick Uran.
Yeah.
I'm picking Uran because he's got the size, he's got the reach. My no tape take is I don't trust Diyar, so there's no way I can trust this guy maybe any less. So give me Uran for the win, my brother. Am I right?
Yeah, this fight is violent special.
Okay.
For sure.
People gonna bleed, it's gonna get cut open, and somebody might die.
Both of them are not great, but here's what I will say. Uran, I thought he beat Boudet. I thought that was a little bit of a bullshit decision, to be frank with you. I thought he landed the better shit. I thought he was able to mitigate a lot of the damage. Boudet was Boudet for most of the fight until like the last 10 seconds of the fucking round where he would flurry and then not really do anything. He only had like the second round where he was able to land effective damage on him.
The Boudet special.
And then we have a guy in Diyar here, I'm going to be real with you, had a lot of hype coming off the Contender Series. Not only gets dropped by Brenton Ribeiro, who I think is a super, don't get me wrong, no shame in it. He's super fucking explosive.
I think he's gifted. I kind of like Brenton, but Brenton, like, he scares me for a couple reasons. One, the IQ. Two, the cardio. Like, I don't think he's that good.
His technique hasn't caught up to his talent level.
Yes.
And when you're getting dropped by someone like that at this level with how many fights, he has a ton of experience already. He gets dropped by him. Then he takes down Ribeiro, gets his back. Ribeiro is able to get a Kimura trap from side control as he's hip escaping and roll him over to sub him. You know, at this level, I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. I gotta lean Uran here. I gotta lean Uran just because I thought he won his last fight. By the way, a weight class up in heavyweight. And I got a guy here in DR that lost to a guy that low key, I don't want to say he's cuttable, but he's not, I don't think he's UFC ready yet.
He's definitely on the lower end of the UFC talent.
Yeah, he can get better. Don't get me wrong. 100%. I'm not trying to shit on the guy.
Yeah.
Like we've defended how talented Ribeiro is in this podcast. Actually, I think we actually said Ribeiro was live when he fought DR. So just want to put that out there. I'm going to lean Uran just because Uran, I think, has the cleaner striking. Diyar doesn't have bad striking. He will go to his wrestling, but Uran does scramble. Uran is big. Uran can strike as well. I'm going to go with the guy who I think is more proven, even though this fight can be competitive in its own little weird way. Give me Uran here. I'll say by knockout of decision.
Next fight on the card at men's welterweight, we have Taiyilake Nueraji, aka Super Saiyan, the debuting Nueraji, going one-on-one with Kiefer Crosbie. Nueraji is 11-1 overall, fighting out of China, rep in China, 24 years old. Crosbie is 10-5 overall, fighting out of Ireland, rep in Ireland, 35 years old. Now, this ain't Crosby's original opponent. He's originally supposed to be fighting Kasanganay. That's probably a fight that would have favored him, or a little more. I don't favor him in this one. I haven't seen Nueraji. All cards on the table, haven't seen him, don't know what he looks like, but just looking at the statistics, my man's got the height, he's got the reach, he's got the youth, he's got the hometown advantage. He's 11-1. And Crosbie, I think he's good. I think he's a tough guy, but never really high on Crosbie to begin with. I did like him against Kasanganay because Kasanganay's also an older gentleman. I don't know if I really like him here. So the official non-tape pick, before I do any kind of tape study, and I'm hoping I'm on the right side here, is Nueraji. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm with you here.
Let's go.
And I'm with you here for a couple of reasons. I think Kiefer Crosbie, good pocket boxer, tough guy, you know, tough guy from Ireland. We get it. I think Nueraji has a lot more weapons. I think he uses his kicks. I trust his chin a little more. And the other thing is Crosbie has a glaring ground game deficiency. Yes, he did get tapped by Kevin Jousset. Yes, he got tapped by Sam Patterson. But when you watch the footage, it's not that he got tapped by those guys, it's how quickly he got tapped by those guys. Those guys were transitioning to take his back and were able to snatch up his neck at the same time. Usually, like at this level, you're able to get the back, you have to control them, then work to that position, or ground and pound and work to that position. He's just seamlessly giving up his neck. And Nueraji got a seamlessly easy armbar finish over a guy 2 fights ago. It wasn't the prettiest thing. I'm not sure his ground game is great either, but even on the feet, I'd say it's probably 60-40 Nueraji. Give me Nueraji here to win this fight via knockout, but if you're asking me, I think sub is sneaky in case Kiefer starts giving him issues. I don't think Kiefer can stop the takedown, and I just think Kiefer is a turtle on its back when it comes to the grappling. Like, I mean, just watch the tape, guys. Sam Patterson and Giuseppe just cut through him like butter. And don't get me wrong, those guys can grapple. They are lanky, just like Nueraji. They have the same dimensions like Nueraji. I just feel like when you're giving up your back and your neck that easily at this level, you don't belong at this level. I'm sorry. And Nueraji, I'm not saying he's gonna push the grappling, but if he does get hurt with Crosbie's pocket boxing, he can shoot and give Crosbie some trouble, just because I think Crosby's a novice with the grappling. I just do. I'm just there. Give me Nueraji here, ITD. Sub is sneaky, but I think he's probably going to knock him out. Nueraji for the knockout here.
Next fight on the card at men's flyweight, we have Sumudaerji, the Tibetan Eagle, going 1-on-1 with El Gallo Negro, Kevin Borjas. Sumudaerji is 17-7 overall, fighting out of Sacramento but repping China, 29 years old. Borjas is 10-3 overall, fighting out of Peru, repping Peru, 27 years old. Now, no tape. I'm not too high on both these gentlemen, but my gut and my goldfish memory is telling me here, this is going to be a striking affair for the most part. I don't think anybody's going to shoot on anybody here. If I had to bet, it'd probably be Sumudaerji, but it's going to be a striking match. I think this fight's probably going to go to decision because I think both guys are very durable. I'm going to be leaning Sumudaerji. And again, it's just purely based on, I think he's got the size. He's going to be at home, or at least on his side of the world. Give me the Tibetan Eagle as my official, non-tape, completely up in the air guess pick for the podcast, my brother. I hope I'm right.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think this fight can be close though.
Yeah, it's a 50-50.
Yeah, and the thing is, the reason I say that is because I think Sumudaerji probably does have maybe the slight offensive wrestling edge, but you had a Kevin Borjas that was able to fend off Rolando Rodriguez for the minimal shot attempts that he took his last fight. Rolando, we played him because we thought he was actively going to go to the wrestling and grappling, and he did not. He fought on the stand-up and from the outside like a complete dumbass.
The lazy boy had a lazy game plan.
Oh, it's fucking bad. That's hilarious, by the way.
I mean...
It is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But this is a guy in Borjas who got taken down by Josh Van. And not that Josh Van is not going to fight for the championship next, but that's a guy who doesn't push the wrestling. Let's just call it what it is. But that should go to show you how deadly Borjas is with the striking. That Van is probably shooting on him. Not probably, did shoot on him, right? So
it mixed it up on him.
With that said, I think Sumudaerji is the lean, but not with a high degree of confidence. This is definitely a fight that I can see swinging Borjas' way if it's a stand-up affair. I think Borjas might have a little bit more pop on his shots, maybe. And I think he uses his kicks a little more thoroughly, and he's going to have the dimensions here. He's going to be the bigger guy. I'll lean Sumudaerji just because they're at home, and I think the fight's going to be close, but don't be surprised if I flip later in the week to Borjas. This is a fight that I don't want much to do with because someone can get murked, but it can go to decision. It can be a sweaty split decision. My advice, probably stay away from it. Got to see how the lines play out to give you a distinct answer on how you should approach this if you want to play it. Follow us on all social media platforms as usual for them plays. But the official lean is Sumudaerji for the podcast.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, we have Sergei Pavlovich going 1-on-1 with Salsa Boy Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Pavlovich is 19-3 overall, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 33 years old. Acosta is 14-1 overall, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, but repping the Dominican Republic, 33 years old. Now, I mean, this one, again, no tape, purely based off of memory, my dog shit memory. It's going to be a pretty boring take from my side, maybe a little too safe, some people might say, but this is probably Pavlovich by knockout. Now, with that being said, I am a little higher on Salsa Boy than the average person, maybe because, you know, Diyar and PR are so close, and, you know, I just share those Caribbean roots and that lineage. I just feel, you know, I could
feel the Latino power.
Yes. But Costa, I think, has underrated takedown defense. I think if he wanted to push some grappling here, which I don't trust him to do, but if he wanted to, there's a path there for him. I do think he's the better, probably technical striker here as well. But Pavlovich, even though he's limited in his skill set, He does one thing and one thing right. He hits very fucking hard.
And his hand speed is insane.
And that being said, I mean, it's a step down for Pavlovich, technically. It's a step up for Acosta. So I'm going to be slightly leaning Pavlovich here. I think power is going to be a factor here. But if Waldo, I'm assuming he's going to be a dog. If he's a wide enough dog, depending on what lines and how everything kind of plays out, I wouldn't mind taking a stab at this. But again, I've done no fucking tape. When I dive into it, I probably feel a little more confident. But my official non-tape pick is Pavlovich, probably by KO.
I will say I'm with you here, Sergei via knockout. This is probably a sneaky decision fight just because Waldo is so fucking durable and he can take a shot. But I will say you should feel a little more confident with Sergei based on his last performance against Rosenstruck. He took him down all 3 rounds and just laid on him. I see why if you don't do tape, you would forget that because it was a very forgettable fucking fight. It was boring as shit.
I forgot he fought Rosenstruck. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what I'm saying. It was boring. It was bad. It was bad. I had to watch that again. I had to endure that alone, brother.
I'm sorry, brother.
And it was, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? And the thing is, like, it's not like Sergei is landing damage. Like, he wasn't actively trying to finish the fight either. He was just controlling him.
But he was shooting on him, though.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to have to watch that.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
But Waldo shown that he has decent takedown defense. I think Waldo by decision is sneaky here, but I think Sergei by knockout of decisions probably the more likely outcome. I don't like Waldo's money line. It's not big enough for me. He's sitting at plus 200, but that goes to show you that Vegas is like hopscotch right now. They don't know what to do. Yeah, they're kind of like,
Waldo's just a hard guy to cap, on top of the fact that you can't really, like, it's hard to tell if he's got IQ or like he just kind of just wings it in there. He's just a hard guy to kind of like nail down prediction wise. I get it.
And he's a dog. Like, and the thing is, one thing my brother said that is correct. I think he is the more technical striker. And the one thing that he does better than a lot of MMA fighters, dude, work behind the jab. It may be fucking boring, guys, but it fucking works. And this is the problem that I have with a lot of like current MMA stars that don't know how to work behind the jab. You work behind the jab, you can dominate a fight. It's just that simple. This is a guy in Waldo who has been able to get by off of the jab. And this is a guy in Sergei. If he doesn't push the wrestling actively here and then get his offense off, he might be able to push this to decision and maybe a close decision, Waldo. Sergei too, with the obvious gas issues. So for me, this is just a situation where it's like, I think playing a long shot on Waldo via decision is not the worst look. If it's like plus 400, I would say plus 500 and up, which it probably is because he's sitting at a plus 200 on the money line. But the most likely outcome, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, is probably going to be Sergei by knockout or decision, just simply because the hand speed is going to be evident, especially early. His hand speed is insane. He can catch anybody in this division. I know Waldo hasn't been knocked out before. He hasn't been knocked out the UFC level, but this is a big step up. This is not Sergei Spivak, who is just going to make bad fight decisions and try to actively spam him with wrestling. This is a guy who can wrestle that will actively spam him with combinations and long combinations. And he also has the longest reach, I think outside of John Jones in the heavyweight division, right? John Jones not being retired. Give me Pavlovich by knockout decision here.
Next fight on the card at men's featherweight and is currently constituted the co-main event of the evening. We have Brian T. City Ortega going 1-on-1 with the Funk Master, Aljamain Sterling. Ortega is 16-4 overall. Fighting out of Torrance, California, 34 years old. Sterling is 24-5 overall. Fighting out of Cortland, New York, 36 years old. This is an interesting fight. This is a fight that I definitely want to watch. Do tape on both gentlemen here. Gut reaction though, and this is my gut lean. I think Sterling's gonna win this fight.
Agreed.
Sterling has proven that he can hang at 145. I think he's a very talented, very athletic, very gifted fighter. Ortega, very good. I don't really trust his wrestling when compared to Aljo here though. And I think Sterling is a underrated kind of like technical striker. Ortega's hittable. Sterling's gonna make this one boring. He could possibly make this one boring. But I think Sterling's gonna be the side here for me. I think Sterling's gonna win this probably by decision. If he subs Ortega, that'd be pretty impressive, to be honest.
Holy shit, yeah.
Sterling's my unofficial non-tape Go Fish memory prediction. I'm stuttering, but this is what it is. Am I right, brother?
Yeah, you're right here.
Hey, okay.
And you're right here for a lot of reasons. Listen, the way Aljo threw around Evelev, I was impressed.
Yeah,
that's what I gotta say.
That fight was sick.
And if you want the real, 1 or 2 grappling exchanges go the other way, he wins that fight. This is a Brian Ortega who he doesn't have a lot of pop in his punches. He's not subbing Aljo. I'd be very surprised if he subbed Aljo. Very surprised. Both of these guys can grapple. I expect this fight to go all the way, but I expect Aljo to be more busy. I expect his wrestling to be better. He is the more active fighter. I don't have to question his mindset. I don't know where Brian Ortega is in this current day of MMA.
And for me, like Ortega, I think he has the tools capable of beating Sterling here. But the issue with Ortega is I feel like he needs to get into a rhythm. And I don't think Aljo is going to let him get into that rhythm. I think Aljo's going to start faster than Ortega. And I think that's going to be like Ortega's just going to be on his back foot and, not playing defense, but being more reactive as opposed to proactive in this fight.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Is Ortega could he pull up like a meme guillotine here? Sure.
100%.
Sure. But this is a guy in Aljamain Sterling that's training with Matt Sierra and that crew. He's training with Marab, who is giving him all the best looks in terms of testing his cardio and pushing him. Marab can fucking grapple too. Whole bunch of killers up there in Long Island. What's up, New York?
Hey.
I just feel like Brian Ortega, you just don't know where he's at either. And I think the mental is so important in terms of capping this fight because this is a guy who wanted to go to 55, came back down to 45. Poor Diego Lopez got fucking hammered. I told you that fight was going to go for the most part.
And it is Diego, just to keep it a buck, but
Yeah, but this is also an Aljamain Sterling who has found a second life in this weight class. He probably knows he was a wrestling exchange or 2 away from beating Evelev.
Yeah.
The UFC wants to do away with this fucking guy. They don't like him. They want to give him Pico. It's a horrible matchup for him. That's another talk for another day. But I think I trust Aljo here. I trust his process. I trust that he's going to work more. I trust his mind. I trust where he's at. I trust that he is going against a guy that is not the biggest puncher or kicker in Brian Ortega. Could Brian Ortega get a meme sub? Sure. If you want to play Ortega, that's the only way to play him. He's not knocking out Aljo, in my opinion. You have to bet him for a mean sub. I don't think he's going to win the minute here. Give me Aljamain Sterling to squeak out a decision here. And not even squeak it out. He might win it in dominant fashion as well. So give me Aljo for the decision here.
Next fight on the card at men's light heavyweight and is currently constituted the main event of the evening. We have Johnny Walker going 1-on-1 with Mingyang Zhang, a.k.a. the Mountain Tiger. Walker, 21-9 overall. Fighting out of England, but repping Brazil, 33 years old. Zhang, 19-6 overall. Fighting out of China, repping China, 27 years old. This is a very funny and interesting fight because if Johnny Walker could do the funniest thing, right? His brother is a very good wrestler. And I think the way to beat Zhang is to wrestle this man because the chin is dummy. The chin goes dummy mode. Yeah. He's got a rubber chin. He's hittable, but Zhang's got power. Zhang
he can take a shot, bro.
Zhang's my pick, by the way. I think he's gonna clean Walker's shit out. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Johnny Walker's chin, as much as I love him, wet paper towel. It's horrendous.
He got dropped by a welterweight boxer the other day, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It was bad. He was like, he didn't know where he was at kind of shit.
I think the way to beat Zhang, like I said, is to wrestle him. Do I trust Johnny Walker to wrestle him? Like I said, he could do the funniest thing. He does train with his brother. He probably won't wrestle him. Give me Zhang here. No tape, by knockout. It's not going to require all 5 rounds. Give me the Mountain Tiger for the win.
Yeah, this is a fight where Johnny does hit hard enough to present some problems for him, but I just trust Mingyang Zhang at this point in his career. I expect him to put the pressure on Johnny. Johnny's going to have a hard time getting his kicks off. Johnny could probably catch him in the clinch and drop him like he did Khalil Rountree, do his ass dirty. But if you're asking me, I just think Mingyang Zhang, a guy who used to fight at heavyweight, this guy fucking cracks. His boxing is clean. He can wrestle to an extent. He's not the best wrestler grappler. Johnny's got to wrestle him. You don't trust him to wrestle. I'm not.
Yeah, it just boils down to we just can't trust Johnny. The guy's talented as fuck. And I like Johnny. I've been a Johnny Walker fan since day one, but you can't trust him. I don't know where he's at mentally. The chin is dog shit. He's just hard. He's just hard to trust, especially from a betting perspective.
Correct. And this is a guy that I played Ozdemir against him. He was a favorite against Ozdemir. Ozdemir was a dog. I talked you onto that shit.
You did talk me on that.
And he flatlined him. And if you want the real, that was a more risky fight in my opinion because he's a lot more flat-footed. He's way smaller. This is a guy who is flat-footed, but he's way bigger. And he has a better chin than Ozdemir at this point in his career. I mean, this is an easy play in my opinion. This is Mingyang Zhang by knockout. Could Johnny Meme knock him out? Sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not banking on it. I think Mingyang Zhang, if that knockout is plus money, I will be playing the shit out of it. If the under is above 2.5, I will be playing the shit out of it. So give me Mingyang Zhang by knockout here.
That's a wrap for UFC Shanghai. Moving right along to the PFL, where they are still continuing their world tournament. They're having their finals. And I think this has got to be their last finals, right?
I think so.
And it's a decently packed card. We are going to break down most of these fights, and we're going to be kicking it off with Impa Kasanganay going 1-on-1 with Andrew Sanchez. Kasanganay is 18-6 overall, fighting out of Charlotte, North Carolina, 31 years old. Andrew Sanchez is 14-8 overall, fighting out of Missouri, 37 years old. Now, again, I've done no tape, not only just on the UFC, but on the PFL. So my non-tape prediction. It's kind of crazy to got Impa on the prelims, but I get it. You know, he's not really in the actual main tournament. He's going against Andrew Sanchez here, who's been knocked out multiple times. Kasanganay, this fight is going to be at 185. It's a good weight class for him, in my opinion. I think it's Impa by knockout. I think Andrew is a tough guy, but I don't think he's got it for Impa. That's my official, non-official, non-tape study pick. Am I right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, this is easy peasy. I think he knocks him the fuck out. I don't think Andrew Sanchez belongs in there with him. I think Impa is a terrible matchup for him, as he is for most of this division. If, you know, they're not the elite. Give me Impa by knockout. Let's move on. Andrew Sanchez is just a guy for Impa to get his head right, low key. Pause.
Hey, yo.
So, Impa by knockout.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight, we have Josh Silveira going 1-on-1 with Murad Ramazanov. Silveira is 14-5 overall, fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, 32 years old. Ramazanov is 12-3 overall, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 29 years old. This one I'm gonna have to do some tape on. I don't remember clearly how Murad fights. I got a weird feeling this is gonna be grappling heavy on both ends here. It's probably gonna go to decision. These guys are both durable. They both really don't finish. Coin flip. I guess give me the Russian here. Give me Murad by decision. I don't know if I'm right. I don't know if I'm wrong. Do not trust me. Like the Polaroid says, don't believe his lies. But you can believe my brother, please.
Yeah, well, no, I'm on your side here with Murad. Murad, I just trust his wrestling a little better than Josh's at this point in his career. Josh is 32 years old, but he's an old 32. Chin, durable, good submission defense. I expect this fight to go to decision. Murad's wrestling, I think, is just a little better. The only time this fight gets a little interesting is down the stretch because Murad's gas tank is super fucking questionable. He's only lost to Shamil twice. Shamil knocked him out bad the first time. We played that. Won money on that. He survived Shamil the second time, and then he went against Aaron Jeffries, who he gives everyone a lot of trouble. Arguably beat Dalton Rosta his last fight too, and Dalton Rosta probably shouldn't be in the finals, but I'll just put that out there. I scored it for Jeffrey.
Hot take.
But those are two very good fighters. Silveira is not a bad fighter himself. I just don't think he's of that ilk. He is also a guy that doesn't actively finish his fights. But if Murad is tired enough in the last round, Josh has a path here for a third round or decision. But if you're asking me, I think Murad should be able to get this out and squeak it out and then survive. Give me Murad here by decision.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, we have Sergei Belisteny going 1-on-1 with Carl Williams. Belisteny is 13-4 overall, fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 29 years old. Carl Williams is 10-3 overall, fighting out of Atlanta, Georgia, but repping the Virgin Islands, 35 years old. I think another coin toss fight, in my opinion. I'm trying to remember how Belisteny fights. I probably do trust Belisteny's power overall, though. I think he's probably the better finisher if I had to, choose between him and Williams. Another one I got to do tape on. Another one where, please, look at the Polaroid. Don't believe his lies. My official pick is Sergei, probably by decision. I'll say decision KO, but definitely not confident. I'm not confident in any of these picks that I've been making, but definitely not confident in this one. This one, I need tape. I got to do tape.
Yeah, I'm on Carl Williams here.
Okay.
And I don't know what the line is because PFL hasn't dropped it yet, but I trust Carl Williams to actively go at it with the wrestling here. Belisteny's by far the better striker. He cracks, but he can wrestle as well. On a half camp and like 2 days notice, he pretty much gave Popov all he could handle. And I think Popov is better than Bilisteni in the wrestling. So for me, this is a situation where I think Carl Williams probably squeaks out a decision because he is not the most prolific finisher either. He typically goes to decisions with most of his fights. But if Bilisteni lamps him, I'm not going to be surprised either because he doesn't have the best chin either. And he does kind of gas late down the stretch of fights too. But if you're asking me who I think is going to win the control time in the minute here, I think Carl Williams has a path here. Give me Carl Williams by decision. We'll see how we play it close to the fight time, but that's the official pick for the podcast.
Next fight on the card at men's heavyweight, and it's one of 3 tournament championships on this card at heavyweight. Like I mentioned before, we have Oleg Popov going one-on-one with King Kong, Alexander Romanov. Popov is 21-2 overall. Fighting out of Russia, hailing from Russia, 33 years old. Romanov is 19-3 overall. Fighting out of Maryland, but repping Moldova, 34 years old. This is another tricky fight in my opinion. This is another fight where I'm kind of high on Popov. I'm a little higher than most on Romanov. Romanov probably a little easier to cap because he's first half of the fight or bust. I still don't trust the guy's cardio, but fuck it. Nuts on the table, no tape. Probably gonna change my mind later. Give me King Kong for the win. And I know for a fact I'm probably wrong on this one. Probably, but hey, I'll let my brother give you the better breakdown.
Romanov.
Horrible fighter. Horrible fighter.
I don't like this fucking guy, man.
I know you don't.
I think he's fucking horrid, to be frank. And that Moldavsky fight, he just looked for every way out. He did his best acting performance at the Soul Train Awards. Whatever the Soul Train Awards are in fucking Russia. The Russian award. The Russian Soul Awards.
The Russian Soul Awards.
Oh my goodness. It was the word. It was like egregious what he did, in my opinion. Okay. Notice no information got released on his injury. He still was able to make it like 2 months later, even though he acted like he had a split testicle from the nut shot.
Amen.
Listen,
nut shots are nothing to play with, man.
He got to the dance. He's going against a guy that doesn't finish. This fight is interesting for a lot of reasons. I just think Popov's re-spamming of the wrestling, his inside trips, his chain wrestling are going to give Alexander Romanov a lot of trouble down the stretch of this fight. If you're going to play Romanov, I think it's early. But if you're asking me, I think Popov is going to bury him after the second round. This is a 5-round fight, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this is going
and
deep. Romanov has the possibility to go deep.
If Romanov doesn't stop him in the first 1.5 rounds, I don't give a shit how shape he is in. He's going to get fucked up in the second, third, fourth, fifth round of this fight.
I might be wrong, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying.
This is a weird fight to cap, but I think if you play Popov third, fourth, fifth, like anything after the first, there's a good chance he stops him. Yeah. And it's not because Popov is actively trying to stop him. It's because Romanov's going to fucking quit. I'm just being honest. That's what's going to happen. That's literally what's going to happen. I just mark my words on it.
Okay.
Give me Popov, I'll say by decision, but if the line's juicy enough for third, fourth, fifth round, I'll sprinkle a little bit. Follow us on all social media platforms for that detail.
Next fight on the card at men's bantamweight, we have a showcase fight featuring Bryce Meredith going one-on-one with Lazaro Diyar. We got the Misfit versus the Hunter here. We got Meredith, who is perfect, 7-0, fighting out of Phoenix, Arizona, 30 years old. Diyar, the Hunter, is 8-0 and 1 overall, so technically perfect. Fighting out of Miami, repping Cuba, 35 years old. This is going to be U.S. wrestling versus Cuban wrestling. This is going to be Meredith and Diyar. Probably going to decision. Give me Diyar. I got to lean with my Caribbean brethren. Terrible capping on my end. Purely based on vibes. I'm capping based on vibes here. I like the vibes on Diyar. Give me Diyar for the win. Don't trust me, please.
Well, I'll trust you.
Oh, shit. Okay.
And here's why, ladies and gentlemen, just for a little more detail here. Bryce Meredith, he was an NCAA nationalist finalist, if I'm correct. He's a champion at the college level as well. I think 2 or 3 time champion. He's a beast, don't get me wrong. But this is a Diyar who went to the Olympics, competed in wrestling, freestyle wrestling at the Olympic level. I faded him against Daddy Sabatello when he was a plus 700 dog. He won that fight, ladies and gentlemen. He got fleeced by the fucking judges. And it was the only time I've ever seen someone do a cage grab and a point be fucking taken away. And of course, it was against my guy when I played him. He won that fight, in my opinion, even with the fence grab. I think he has better punching power on the feet. His wrestling is very good. Even when he's on bottom, he gets back up. Once again, collegiate level to Olympic level. And yeah, he didn't medal. But listen, DC didn't medal either. And he was a fucking monster amongst national champion wrestlers in the UFC. This is a guy in Meredith who should have stopped Miguel Piembert. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name, my guy. 3 fights ago at Bellator 300, the guy had 0 takedown defense. The guy went to the bell with him. A guy in Ty Johnson who, once he got on top of him, didn't have a lot of answers for him. He got the rear naked choke in his last contest, but it was against a guy who arguably just didn't belong in there with him. My point is that Bryce hasn't been tested. This is a big step up in competition for him. And this is a guy in Diyar who fought a Danny Sabatello, who is all action with the wrestling, all pressure. And I thought he won the fight. And I had a good feeling he was going to win the fight because he is a stud wrestler. He is a better technical wrestler than Sabatello. Sabatello is just pressure and volume with the wrestling. Meredith is a better technical wrestler, but he doesn't have the cardio down the stretch to deal with a guy like Diyar. And I think Dairon's just more technical than he is. So for me, this is an easy play. I'm going to lean with the guy who has the better punching power, the better wrestling acumen. He is going to be at a size disadvantage, but Danny Sabatello was way bigger than him, and he handled him. This is a guy who's a little shorter than Sabatello and Meredith. I expect him to handle him too. Meredith, the PFL's showcasing him, I feel this is a showcase fight. I don't know if this fight even belongs in the main card. I'm assuming they're showcasing him. I think this is a tough fight to showcase against, in my opinion. I'm expecting Dairon to be the dog here. Give me him for the dog play because people are still sleeping on my Cuban brother in here. Give me Dairon by decision here. But follow us on our social media platforms to see how we're going to cap it, to see if I think he may stop him down the stretch. But I think it goes to decision.
Next fight on the card, another showcase fight at featherweight. We have Alexei Pregande going one-on-one with Ethan Goss. Alexei is perfect. 6-0, fighting out of Tennessee. 24 years old. Goss, the Wolverine, is 12-7 overall. Fighting out of Petersburg, Pennsylvania. 33 years old. Now, I don't know who Ethan Goss is. I've done no tape on this man.
I barely done any tape too, ladies and gentlemen. You could barely find anything of this guy online.
But I do know who Alexei is. And I know he is very fucking good.
Yes.
So, no tape, goldfish memory, unofficial official pick from your boy Boogie. It's going to be Alexei. ITD. Am I right, brother? That's where I'm leaning at least. I don't know.
Yeah, this is totally the correct showcase fight. This is a showcase fight that I think favors the guy that they want to push. And here's why. Alexei, very good boxing. Very good striking, even with his legs, to be frank. I feel like I'm just taking away from his overall game by just saying boxing. Very good body kicker, very good body puncher. There's a guy in Ethan Goss from the limited tape I've seen, ladies and gentlemen. Super susceptible to the body. Does get hit. Not the best defense. His striking's okay, but once again, I think Alexei just does everything that he does better. He's a bigger, better version of this guy. Could Ethan give him some trouble? Sure. But this is a guy in Alexei who has 2 submission wins in his 6 victories. The other 4 going to decision. And there's a guy in Ethan Goss who just got heel hooked in his last fight. Alexei, literally in his last contest, got his kick caught and fell into a triangle. And it wasn't because his opponent gave it to him. Very filthy. He is very good everywhere. I expect him to finish this fight. Give me Alexei, ITD here. Sub is sneaky depending on the line, but I expect him to finish Ethan Goss here. Unless Ethan Goss and his footage pop up somewhere and I can see more, that's how I'm leaning for the officially in this podcast.
Next fight on the card at men's light heavyweight and is currently constituted the co-main event of the evening. Another tournament championship fight. We have Shoeface Antonio Carlos Jr. going one-on-one with Sullivan Cauley. Carlos is 18-6 overall, fighting out of Brazil, hailing from Brazil, 35 years old. Cauley is 8-1 overall, fighting out of Arizona, 29 years old. Now, this is a fight that's very interesting because I've tried to fade both men. I tried to fade Antonio in his last fight. I tried to fade even Cauley in his last fight. I'm going to be picking Cauley here. And, I mean, it might bite me in the ass because, you know, Carlos' jiu-jitsu is A1, but Cauley's win over Phil Davis is way more impressive. Cauley is a bad man, finisher, got that killer instinct. Carlos, I love him, but he's a little over the hill. He's going to be the slower guy here, in my opinion. I will do tape to confirm that, but Cauley is my unofficial, official pick. My brother, are we aligned?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are aligned.
Hey!
And we're aligned because I told everyone that Sullivan could be live against Phil. I didn't play the fight because I respect Phil's talent so much. I think I leaned him for the podcast, but I said if Carly wins this fight, I'm not going to be surprised. He won the fight. I was not surprised. There's a guy in Antonio Carlos Jr. who needs to get the wrestling and grappling going to effectively control and win his fights cleanly. He went against Simeon Powell his last fight. Simeon Powell is not the best wrestler or grappler, so he was able to get positions on him. Carl Moore, a bigger, slower version of him, used his experience to win that fight. And you could argue he lost that fight because it went to split. Carl Moore, some people actually scored it for him, which says a lot. And I don't think Carl Moore he's okay. He's not great.
Yeah.
But it says a lot about Shoeface's state in this game. There's a guy in Corley who I know is going to press the offense. A guy who I know if Shoeface even wrestles into him, he's going to be able to get off the cage. If he gets him down, he's going to be able to get up. Give me Corley here to find the victory. It's going to be either by knockout decision. He's not subbing Shoeface.
I think he knocks him out.
I think he could find the knockout, but Carlos Jr. has just been finding ways to survive some of these contests, low-key.
True.
He just has. And with that said, he's only been knocked out once in his career. And it was literally to Daniel Kelly 9 years ago. Do I think Carly finds the finish here? I'll say yeah for podcast sake, but don't be surprised depending on the line if this is a fight that I say goes to decision.
Party's over, Grandpa.
Yeah, the party is over, Grandpa. I'm with you. Send him home, Abuelito. Give me Sullivan Carly here by knockout decision.
Next fight on the card at men's middleweight and is currently constituted the main event of the evening, the last tournament championship at 185. We have the assassin Fabian Edwards going one-on-one with Hercules Dalton Rosta. Edwards is 15-4 overall, fighting out of England, rep in England, 32 years old. Rosta is 11-1 overall, fighting out of Boca Raton, Florida, 29 years old. Now this one I hate capping because I don't like Edwards, but I think he's the better fighter. I do like Rosta, but I do think he has some issues. Purely based on that and no tape. Like I want to keep reminding you, ladies and gentlemen, I've done no tape, so please don't believe his lies. I'm going to be picking Edwards. I think Edwards wins this fight. But like I said, I like Rosta. I hate Edwards. I'm going based on vibes here. But I just, the cardio is a little, that's the one thing that kind of scares me here. 5-round fight. Decision either way. I think Rosta's a tough dude. I think Edwards is my pick, though. Are we aligned?
We're aligned on everything but the decision here. I think this is a 5-round fight. I think Edwards can definitely find a finish here.
Okay.
And Fabian's way better than him on the feet. If they get in the clinch, I think he's going to butcher him low-key with the elbows. His elbows and his timing with his elbows is sensational. I told everyone that he was live against Impa. I did not touch that fight.
Sensational.
Because I did not I did not like the line enough to touch Fabian there. Pause. But if you're asking me if Dalton can't get the wrestling going, he's going to get fucked up in this fight, in my opinion. Doesn't have the best gas tank. I thought he lost to Aaron Jeffrey his last fight, and that was a 3-rounder where he looked gassed as fuck because Jeffrey was wrestling into him. Fabian has the better championship experience. He's going to be the bigger guy in there, height-wise and length-wise. Maybe not physically because Dalton Rosta looked like he carved out a stone, but I just feel like this is a lot too soon for Dalton Rosta. He would surprise me heavily if he won this fight. He either has to catch him with a mean knockout or he's going to drown him with the grappling. And I don't see either or because Fabian Edwards has got pretty good takedown defense, had pretty good takedown defense against Johnny Eblen until he did it. Johnny Eblen had to actually go for the knockout and pretty much murk him in their first contest because Fabian was able to stuff the takedowns and he was winning on the cards. Give me Fabian Edwards here to find a knockout late. I'd say rounds 3, 4, 5. I'll give Rosta the first 2, but that's the only win condition he has, in my opinion, for rounds 1 and 2. Once it gets past rounds 1 and 2, Fabian's body work is going to catch up, and I think he puts him away in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th round. Give me Fabian Edwards here by finish 3, 4, and 5.
And that does it, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 112 in the books. We covered the UFC Shanghai. We covered the PFL World Tournament Finals. Please, if when you listen back to this one, lean into my brother's picks more than mine's. I did not do any tape. This is my final warning. One last time before Labor Day. Tell us what the deal is. Take us home.
Like, comment, subscribe, follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Everybody enjoying the visual portion of this podcast, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date.
And for all of our audio listeners, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, you already know. And for all of you ladies and gentlemen that are going to give my brother some shit for this, give him a break. He actually got like 80% of the picks aligned with me with not doing any tape. So
Boogie Dom is hopefully in effect. You feel me?
it works out like low key. The podcast still quality. I gave you guys pretty good and effective and detailed breakdowns as to why I think these fights are going to be the way they're going to be. We'll see what happens come fight night. We're off next week. See you guys in 2 weeks for episode 113. But considering that it's only episode 112 and it is 112, it's only you. Love you. You got what I need.
Bars.
Take it easy. Holla at you later.